first, don't they? So,
yeah,
Yeah,
we've
they
got
do.
Palace 5:30 Saturday. Interesting.
yeah. I mean, you say interesting, but I think there's really only one winner in there, isn't there?
I mean, I always have to check
What
with you, Brian,
Palace?
because I know what you're like. What did you say, John?
I said, what, Palace?
Oh, yeah, I knew it. I knew one of you two was saying.
I don't know. They were just a bit like they did beat Southampton, and Southampton play good football, but I don't know. Starhall scored. I don't have him being that consistent this season. You know, he's been wanting to move for how many years now. Townsend played all right. He got an assist, but against United, I don't know. I think they could be in trouble. And I'm hearing that a lot of people have Roy Hodgson to get sacked this season, so
Oh,
maybe
really?
it's just getting the ball. Yeah, I've heard rumours.
Is that just an age thing, or is that is there actually a
I don't know.
reason?
It might be a bit of an age bias from some people, but I don't know. I've always thought he was decent.
I've
He's
liked
done
Roy.
well the past 3 years, hasn't he?
And the thing is, and I know we're supposed to put a bit more of a kind of tactical spin in it as well, but Palace are very hard to break down, to be fair. Like they are, for all of their like poor attacking threat, they're very solid. Very solid. So, although I expect a United win out of this, as I would, I don't think it'll be that easy. But I do think they'll make a silly mistake, Palace. I feel like they'll give a penalty away, or Bruno will score from distance. I feel like he's the key to victory in this game for United.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. And I think, obviously, look at the impact he had last season when he signed. It was like a completely whole new team when he come in. So I can see why a lot of people have him in their fantasy teams at least. And I think, yeah, he could definitely be the difference.
And in terms of pricing, John, Bruno Fernandes, what do you think? Value or not value?
I think he's value for what he is. He could easily be 11, 12.
And he's currently coming in at
10.5, I believe.
Which I think, when you look at
about what it was last season.
Yeah, when you look at the other big boys, the KDBs of this world, he works well. But United have got a lot of interesting options, I think. So Van der Beek, the Hef.
Yes, it actually took a while for him to. I thought he would have gone with kind of like the Jong transfers. I thought that would have been his time as well, and it kind of be a bit of a purge on Ajax. So I was surprised to see that he still stuck around. And he was kind of. I did rate him over De Jong. I liked Van der Beek more during the Ajax days. So I do think you got the better of the two. Yeah, he's just very much like De Jong, but just like I said, but just a bit better. So, okay. But I'm expecting it to take a long time for him to be comfortable.
And before, people are getting sick of hearing my voice in this pod all the time. So what I will ask you is, if you've heard of Donny van Beek, obviously, and a lot of people wouldn't have, though. Well, they know he signed it, but they don't know a lot what to expect. What kind of player is he?
He's not like the most physical midfielders, especially for the Premier League. But he's like he's a very neat passer, can get forward, not to like the level of what's his name, Bruno Fernandes. But I think them two could complement each other quite well. Wouldn't be surprised to see them side by side here and there. But then obviously Van der Beek dropping back and doing the more defensive duties. Young, but I expect him to need a few weeks at least to get up to flow for Premier League, because it's a very big jump going from like the Ajax system, who dominate in the Netherlands, to Man United side, who are on the up and up. Even I would have bitten that, but they're still going to be behind some of the big boys this season. So it's not going to be a walk in the park for them. And
for 7 million, do you think he's value in fantasy football? John, get your input on this one as well, mate.
I think he's priced a bit high, if I'm honest. I'd put him more at 6.
We don't really,
like Brian said, we don't really know what he's going to do. So that seems a bit steep for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, cool. So that's the new boy done. But that by no means is United done. There is choices on choices on choices. In fact, there's so many choices at United. They're one of the only teams that have 2 pages of tip players on fantasy football. So the midfield. Now, I think this is interesting because Rashford and Greenwood both being listed as a midfielder, and John and I went into this in some real depth on the previous podcast. So we're not going to do too much on this one. Check out the other pod if you want that depth. But if we were just really quickly to say, from a fantasy football point of view, Rashford, Greenwood, or Bruno, which one do you go for? Rashford coming in at 9, Greenwood 7.5, Bruno 10.5.
I think Bruno goes above all of them. Like, my 1-2-3 would be Bruno, Rashford, Greenwood, just because I think Greenwood, with his off-the-field antics, might be a little distracted right now.
It's a
Bit
good
of like a... So he's going to have eyeballs on him, isn't he? Like any slip up, people are going to look for stuff. So I think the pressure on the young player might play on him a little bit.
Yeah, I would probably go that similar order. I'd probably actually go Bruno, Greenwood, and then Rashford.
Oh, interesting. So why Greenwood over Rashford for you, John?
I think just because of his age, I think he's got more potential at this stage. I mean, Rashford has got, don't get me wrong, a lot of potential, but he can be a bit off. Seen him play for England and stuff as well, and he can be a bit off. I think Greenwood's just about hitting that stage where he's going to hit some serious form.
Well, it's a good shout because it's all about timing. You're right. Rashford had that hot run for kind of 18 months before he started becoming inconsistent. This could be a good way of looking at it. Also, people worth checking out if this Jadon Sancho deal ever does happen, or some winger of some sort, like. Then you might have to reconsider Greenwood as a starter. Why did you both laugh at that?
Well, it's a bit like saying, well, when Tottenham win the league this season, two things that aren't going to happen.
We'll get to that one in a bit. That was loaded. Oh, my goodness. And then defensively, I just think there's more value than there is in the United team. I like Maguire, but obviously all of that madness in Greece. Distractions again. How focused are going to be? Pulled out the England squad. It's a problem. Wan-Bissaka I like, but 5.5. I feel like there's going to be more attacking fullbacks.
United have backed him though, haven't they? So he's going to get games.
Well, yes, that is true, and he will play, as you say. If he's going to get those games at 5.5, if you're going to go for one, in fact, let me ask you that, John. If you're going to go for one, a Maguire or Wan-Bissaka?
It depends what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for a more classic defender that's not going to jump forward all the time, then it would be Harry Maguire. But then Wan-Bissaka has got that sort of element to him, hasn't he? Oh.
For fantasy, what do you reckon, though?
I'll probably go one, actually.
Because I think that's the thing to consider with fantasy football is that there's different threats. So Maguire, if you fancy United from set pieces, I'd go him. And if you fancy the delivery, the assists, then you look Wan. So up to you, people. Some options there. Goalkeepers, it's got to have to be De Gea, but Henderson's going to be breathing down his neck. I tell you, a couple of mistakes and I can see him getting replaced.
Oh, yeah, the heat's on for him. 100%.
All right, well, I think that's enough for United. The guys have got enough. We'll do our predictions at the end, so don't you worry. But how about City then? City Wolves, big game.